Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko, their part number 170B. This is a piece of extruded architectural bronze threshold material, a very common profile when it comes to thresholds. And what that means is that there's a confluence of the width and then the height of the threshold that simply make it common. Okay, and the 170 is representative of the profile of this item, and the B means that it is solid architectural bronze. Some people will certainly call this brass. By all means, call it brass, call it bronze. The base material is an amalgamation of four primary materials called brass generally, but we would call it architectural bronze. An amalgamation of materials specifically intended to give the sort of results from a metallurgical standpoint that would be expected of architectural hardware. Now, the dimensional properties of this item, let's go over that now. 4-inch is the width, and there's an image below this video that shows the dimensional properties. 1/2 inch in height. Okay, this is of course a sample piece. I mean, it's literally a sample for purposes of this video. Now, the 170 is going to be available in 2 different base materials and then lots of finishes. So this base material, architectural bronze, brass. The finishes on that, you're going to be able to do mill. This is what mill looks like. It is streaky, it is pitted, not pitted, it is going to have a significant discoloration across the entire surface of the material. It's raw. If you're ordering this, please understand it's going to look like this, and you might say, well, that looks horrible. Well, it's mill. It's meant to be this way. Why would you order it? Because you specifically want this to age with exposure to its environment, because let's say you're replicating something that was done 100 years ago. That's why you would order mill. 4 other options as well to mill. So you got mill. You can do a satin brass, which would be a 606 finish. You can do a polished brass, which would be a 605 finish. You can do a 613 finish, which would be oil-rubbed bronze. And Pemko can even do a 612 finish, which would be satin bronze. But because this is a piece of architectural bronze, technically, you can do anything to it. You can even have it plated, polished chrome if you wanted. Very unusual, but not unheard of. Although I would be very tempted to not want to plate this as a threshold. I don't believe the plating would last very long. But because of the base material, anything can be done to it. You could powder coat it as well. The other base material, of course, is going to be the common aluminum finish that is available. And onto aluminum, we can do the mill finish aluminum. I'm looking at the price list. You can do a bright dip gold, which would be a metallic, shiny gold brass finish. You can do a D finish for dark bronze. Gold, which would be a matte gold finish, not metallic. And those would be your options on those 2 base materials. Why would you want this? Significantly more durable than a piece of aluminum threshold. You're going to use this in hotels, museums, a $2 million house. If you're building a $2 million house, which in certain parts of the world is certainly not a costly house, you're not going to install a $30 threshold. That's just the bottom line. And that's where you'll see an item like this as well. Ritz-Carlton Hotel down in southern Florida, they've got pairs of doors that open out into a meeting area where weddings and whatnot are held, and all of those pairs of doors along the entire 3 sides of that open outdoor area, it's all solid brass, architectural bronze thresholds. They've been there for decades. And the front door of City Hall in Chicago, bronze thresholds. The Shed Aquarium in Chicago, bronze thresholds. They've been there for decades. So that'd be another reason why you'd use such an item. Okay, now, why are the dimensional properties common? 4-inch is very common for a typical sort of threshold that you're going to bump into. 1/2-inch height, also very common with typical undercuts that you're going to see. Pemko can do a lot of different solid brass or architectural bronze threshold profiles. They have a number of them. You can go smaller and wider and shorter and whatnot. A variety of interlocking style thresholds as well. speaking of sizes, this will be available in the site in all of the common lengths, 2 foot to 8 foot. You can have longer than 8 foot, but we don't list it because the cost to ship something that's 8 foot long is prohibitive generally, because it cannot ship package service. But if you need something longer than 8 foot, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We will help you with pricing up an 8 foot piece. If this was the genuine article, you would have a countersink about 4 or 5 inches from the end, maybe 4 inches. And then you'd have a solid brass flathead screw included as well. That would be in a complementary finish to the base material of what's installed as well. If you have need for a custom length, by all means let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces, and indicate that net length in the comment field when adding to your cart. Why? You may not want to cut a piece of material like this. The factory's going to have a really clean edge on that material. They've got the right tool for doing it. If you're ordering polished brass, satin brass, oil rub bronze, satin bronze, when you make that cut through there, you are going to expose the raw unfinished bronze material as well. The factory won't ship it to you that way. They're going to finish that edge so that you don't have to worry about an exposed end. That would be another reason. Plus also, you're doing a threshold that will be measured in the yardstick of hundreds of dollars. You're probably not going to want to have to drill through there and have an odd center to center on those first 2 holes. If you were taking a 4 foot piece and cutting it down to 44 inch, you're going to eliminate a screw hole, and you're going to be stuck drilling another one, countersinking it as well. So you're better off having the factory do that to your benefit. Another benefit would be is if you needed something that was, if you needed a quantity of them, it's better to order them. Well, there's different ways to think about that. You don't want to order more brass when it's $1 trillion a foot than necessary. However, I've also sold lots of the material, a list of material to a client who needed several at 85.5 and a couple at 92.25, then a bunch of them at 41 5/8. And what they did was they ordered lengths based on what they know that they could cut the sizes into, and then do the cutting and countersinking themselves. If you've got a machine shop, that will be quite simple for you. So depending on what your capabilities are and ultimately what your needs are, you want to order it the proper length to get you closest to the end result so that you're not wasting money and then having to re-drill, recut, and possibly have to deal with an unfinished edge. Lots of reasons why you might order a custom length. Or even reasons why when you would not order a custom length. Okay, so moving on, finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can review not only all the Pemko products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Pemko, they're part number 170B, extruded architectural bronze, threshold, or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.